My name is Stephanie. I'm coming to you from Urban Spools. This is my very first time to go live. Needless to say, I'm a little nervous. But we felt this topic was really important, so this will be our very first episode coming to you from Urban Spools Live. So today, what we're going to be teaching you is how to make masks for those who are working in our healthcare community. As I'm sure many of you have been watching everything quickly evolve on the news, and one of the concerns right now in a lot of communities is the fact that they are running low on health masks, protective face masks. Now, because they're running low, the CDC has started to approve alternative things, and one of them is homemade face masks. I know for me personally, the hospitals always take precedence on face masks, but for me personally, this is something that's near and dear to me. My sister, Trisha, hey there, is a pharmacist at Walgreens. So I worry a lot about her, and this is something I'm going to be doing for her, making quite a few for her and the other techs over at Walgreens at her particular one. And I know that everybody knows somebody who's out there working to help our community get through this. So we thought this was a perfect time to go live and kind of walk you through the process. Okay, so first I want to start off by showing you what pattern we're going to use. Every link I'm about to show you, we will show in the comments afterwards. So here, this is where we did, first off, confirm. We want to make sure that this really is what the CDC was saying was okay, so that if there are not enough supplies of face masks, way down, when no face masks are available, options include these homemade masks. And we have tried our best to figure out which is the best. We had heard that they were approving SCARs, so we felt, okay, now is the time for us to come together as the community and do something to help out. The pattern we picked, it comes from freesewing.org, and on there they have a pattern, same calling all makers, a one-page PDF. This is the face mask I'm going to be walking you through during this episode and making. When you scroll down, you will see there is a pattern for the letter. This is what you will be printing off. Make sure whenever you print this off, you don't have anything where your zoom is set incorrectly. Let me show you real quick. When we first did this, my zoom wasn't quite correct, so I ended up having to throw all these away. And then we set the zoom correctly, so you should see something that covers up the whole page. Once you get this printed off, on that same page, right underneath there are the instructions for the face mask pattern. And these are the instructions I'm going to guide you through right now on how to make a face mask. All right, so first off, what we did is we found that you can get about 3 face masks out of 2 fat quarters. So we took 2 fat quarters, we folded them right sides together, and for me, just for ease of use, we folded them together, and I went ahead and I stacked them. So what you're going to do is you're going to stack those together, and then you're going to take your pattern that you have. One thing I want to show you there, oh, isn't this convenient on live? I've lost my paper. Oh well, that's fine. One thing I definitely want to point out is that this says the pattern does not include a seam allowance. So if you notice on here, what I did was I added an additional buffer all the way around. You'll notice I did not cut along the pattern line. So here I went ahead and added about 1/2 inch seam allowance. You can add less if you want to, but you know, half an inch kind of just gave quite a bit so that, you know, you kind of fudge around with it. Also, if you notice here, I did on the large, not the medium or the small, but there are a variety of sizes, and we do recommend you do make a variety of sizes for those who are needing it. So once you've added in that seam and you've cut this out, which I've done right here, you're going to have 2 pieces. Notice they are right sides together, and you're going to take this over to the sewing machine. Now, at the sewing machine, we are going to stitch this up again. Remember, I was using half an inch seam allowance. Those who don't know me, I'm a very slow sewist, so want to make sure you lock that stitch up at the beginning, and then we're going to go all the way down. And I'm sure far more experienced sewists, you'll probably zip through this a lot faster than I will. But that's okay. The important thing is you can get these done. They said that once you get the hang of this, it takes about 15-20 minutes to get them done. And that's about what we were seeing as well. So with one fat quarter in an hour, you can get 3 out for someone that you know, one of your loved ones that's working out there to help us get through this time. So we're going to stitch one with 1/2 inch seam allowance. Now I'm going to stitch up the other one. Make sure you lock that stitch in the beginning. So we're going to go ahead and get this here. And again, I'm going to make sure I lock this stitch at the end. And cut that out. Okay, so now you have 2 pieces of fabric. The next thing we're going to do, he recommended in the pattern to press your seams open. We decided not to do that. Actually, what we did was we went ahead and we pressed our seams off to the side. So let me go ahead and show you that. So instead of pressing our seams open, just fold it over our fabric. Just put it to the side. And you're going to do this to both pieces. So here's one. Want to press that down. And then here's the next one. Just kind of press it down just like that. Just like that. Okay. All right, now let's go back over to our table. Now, once you have pressed down both of those seams, you're going to take the inner lining and you're going to fold it, kind of twist it inside out, just like that. Nice and easy. Now, this is the only part that kind of got me confused. We used, in his pattern, he recommends you use ribbon. We decided to go ahead and use 1/4 inch elastic, and each of these pieces are 7 inches long. So what I did is I went 1 inch in and I pinned it, and same thing on this side. Turn it over, same thing, inch in, pinned it, inch in, and pinned it. Then I took the outer piece. You just kind of open that up and lay that inside, just like that, okay? Then you're going to take this back over to your sewing machine. One thing I also made sure of is that my seams were opposite each other, not stacked up. So you didn't have quite so much bulk there. Okay? So you're going to take this over to back to the sewing machine. Okay, now here, whenever you stitch this, you're going to need to leave an opening. I chose to leave the opening off to the side. So when I take this, also another thing that I did just to kind of reinforce it, and here I also used about 1/2 inch seam as well. When I went over the elastic, I just locked that stitch one more time right over it, just to really make sure it was in there secure. So I'm going to pivot right here, and just lining up my fabric. Now, you are more than welcome to pin more. In fact, I would recommend it, but you'll also learn as you're trying to get a lot of these done. Since it is kind of a small project, it's up to you whether or not you want to pin, especially because, you know, a lot of our healthcare workers are asking for quite a few of these. I got a message today from LaKinda. She's one of our customers, and she was telling us that one of her friends, she's a hospice nurse, they are asking for masks so that they can change them out whenever they're going between patients. If my understanding is Total Hospice and Palliative Care in Richardson. Like I mentioned, my sister is a pharmacist at Walgreens, and I know she said her and her techs would be appreciative. I'm pretty sure we all know a local Walgreens or CVS or any local pharmacy for that matter. And I know of a lot of nurses that sincerely would probably appreciate this project done. They don't need one, they need many. That way when they're going between patients, they can easily change these out. But since they're fabric, they're able to wash them. So they don't need one, they don't need two, they need many to kind of help keep them protected just a little bit extra. Now, we picked this particular pattern on freesewing.org. There are quite a few out there, so please just look around, find one. But this is one of the easiest ones that we saw. One of the recommendations that Penelope found when we were researching this today is that for that inner lining, on this particular example, that's the orange fabric that I was using. But for the inner lining, they were saying maybe use fleece. That's a little bit soft. I'm sorry, I said fleece. I always do that. I meant to say flannel. That's a little bit softer on the skin, so you're more than welcome to do that as well. Just something to kind of make it nice. I found with just the 2 layers of cotton, it was plenty for me. Okay, so we've got that stitched all around. Let's go back over here to our table. All right, so once you have this all stitched, you're going to want to clip your corners. And, well, you see, never can seem to get too prepared whenever you're going live because I put my scissors too far away from me. So I'm going to clip my corners. Just like that. And then, as you know, a lot of our local restaurants are suffering, so if you can get something from Payway, that's my turning tool that I'm using. So I'm just going to turn this inside out. And I'm going to use my turning tool to kind of just nudge out my corners. You don't want to poke, you kind of want to just gently push. You don't want to push so hard that it goes through. And then you're just going to keep turning it inside out and keep working on those corners as well. So I'm going to go here, poke that out, and then just feed the rest through. So as I keep working on this, I kind of want to show you one where I've already worked off the corners so you can kind of see what we have there, which is this one right here. Oh, never mind. Let's post it. No, this is it. Okay, so this one I've already gotten all the corners out. Let me see. Actually, no, I do need to show you on this one because I need to show you how to close up that hole. So one last trip we got to make to the sewing machine to finish all of this up. So, kind of push out that corner right there as well. Just in case you're wondering, how long does it take to prepare for a live video? I've been working on this since about noon. It takes a long time, and here it is, 6 o'clock, and we're finally doing it. All right, so once you do all of this and you get all this out, you can definitely press it to make it look a little bit nicer. But before we press this, we're going to go back to the sewing machine and we're going to fix up this one little hole right here. And it's going to hit my camera, so we're going to fix that up real quick. All right, so now we're going to fix up this one last seam. And I just used a 1/4 inch. I didn't really pay attention to my seam allowance all that much. Again, I'm going to do just an extra reinforced stitch over that elastic. But on this one right here, I did, I got a little bit close to the edge. Used a 1/4 inch seam. All right, let's take this back over here. Okay, now at this point, we've got this all stitched up. He did say if you want to make it look a little bit nicer, you can take it back over to the iron. So let's go ahead and do that. And you can iron out all of your edges. Just make it look nice and neat. And it does make it look a lot nicer. I'm just going to iron this real quick. Alrighty. There we go. Alright, and that is it. So here's a completed one that I have. I made the large size, so I would recommend, especially if you're going to give these to anyone in the community, make a variety of sizes. So this is the large size, just so you can kind of have reference how big it is. There you go. And there you go. That's the face mask. All right, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. It's our first time going live, so I didn't have anybody here kind of monitoring what comments are coming in, but I will reply to them on this video throughout the night. And happy sewing, everyone. We hope you have a nice evening. Bye-bye.